Yo, 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 yo. What's going on? What's happening? What's popping? Everybody, how we doing? How we feeling on this Monday night? You know what I'm saying? We did a real we're doing a real quick pop-up show. This really was not planned. But with the Michael Penix injury update, we had to come in and definitely discuss that and talk about that. I promise I will not keep you here long tonight, but have to talk about the Michael Penix injury. Where do we go from here? How does this affect the franchise moving forward? How does this affect the plans moving forward? How would this affect Michael Penix? So, we definitely got to talk about that. So y'all come on in, man. Come on in. Welcome in. We are doing this one like how we used to do it old school, man. We're not on Twitter for this stream. We're not on Facebook for this stream. Just only YouTube, man. So y'all make sure to hit that like button and show some love, and that way, we can hop in the algorithm. But let's get to it. As we all know, Michael Penix got injured in yesterday's game against the Carolina Panthers. And from the last update I heard, it was a partial torn ACL against the Panthers. So that was the last prognosis that I heard, the last word that I heard, and I did hear that they were planning a second opinion. Not to be pessimistic, but the way he flung that helmet off yesterday during the game, I knew it wasn't good. And I got to be honest with y'all. I got to be transparent with y'all. We ain't gonna be on here long tonight, but this gonna be one of them conversations now. It's gonna be one of these tough conversations where maybe 1, 2, or 3 of you might feel like I'm hating, or may feel like I'm not being fair to somebody. So I'm just letting you know off top. There's gonna be one of them conversations. That's why we here past 11 o'clock on the Monday. So we're going to keep it real with ourselves and real about the situation. Forever and always, we are Falcons fans. And with being Falcons fans, sometimes we have to have difficult conversations with one another. So I'm just letting y'all know what the vibe go be on this. And I'm trying to set the stage for you. And I know somebody probably think, oh, Todd finna be on that BS. I can hear it in his voice. But, I'm just setting the stage. This gonna be one of them conversations, y'all. Just setting the stage. Let's quickly go into the comment real quick before we get going. I got my brother Ski in the building. Says, what's happening, Ski? You going live and kind of like, yeah. So it's a late one for Monday night, Ski, man. We got to talk about this injury, bro. Ski also says, Tyler, do you think the Falcons should look for another quarterback or draft another one? Penix has another ACL injury. That's a great question. We are going to cover that during this live, Ski. So make sure that you do stay tuned. We got our brother in the building, MVM 1978. Bro, how you doing, man? Appreciate you coming in as usual. He says, I know this much. If I was an owner or a GM, I would have been watching Kirk Cousins since Washington. There's no way I give him $180 million contract. 2, always look for the next man up. It's adapt or fall out. That's a great comment. And as you know, MVM 1978, when we signed Kirk Cousins to that contract, a lot of people said it was a bad idea. A lot of people said it was a terrible idea. Like, what are the Falcons doing? What is Raheem doing? What is Terry doing? And in hindsight, those people were absolutely right. They were absolutely right. It just ended up being a waste, man. That's going to go down in history as the worst free agent signing in Atlanta Falcons history, mostly due to the money that came with it. MVM also says if Penix had two bad knees, why draft him when he could get hit and he be gone like an ATM. I like Michael Penix, but we always need 3 or 4 quarterbacks. That's just my opinion. And we actually gonna touch on that also, man. That's another great comment. MVM also says I feel people truly hate on Michael Penix Jr. because he's not Michael Vicking it enough. And as we mostly already know, that's in all probability we'll never see like a exact replica, excuse me, of Michael Vick in Atlanta, even though Lamar Jackson came very close in Baltimore. But Michael Vick, that was just such a generational talent, and he's of course legendary in Atlanta. And that's not Penix style. Penix want to sit in that pocket, and Penix want to show you, hey man, I got a strong arm and I can pick you apart. So really, although their both first name is Michael and they're both left-handed, they're stylistically, night and day. But I do think you make a point, a good point. I think some fans did kind of want to see him take off and do what Vic used to do back in the Georgia Dome. Silk Legacy in the house. What's going on, Silk? Hope you're doing good tonight, man. Ski also says, Todd, if Michael Penix is gone for 2 years, do we just trade him away or what? We have no other choice. We're going to get into that, Ski. That's a great question. Got my brother Check Down in the building. What's happening, Check Down? Appreciate you coming in. Y'all make sure to check out the Check Down also here on YouTube, man. Got a great YouTube channel. Great. He makes great content when we can get him to make content. The thing is get him to make content. But I appreciate you coming in, brother. Says only our beloved Falcons will find themselves in this situation. Most Falconist thing ever. The most Falconist thing ever. Schizotati, new coaches are going to want an injured quarterback. So if Raheem is fired, I really think Michael Penix Jr. time in Atlanta is over. Hey, man, we're going to get into that, bro. We're definitely going to open that can of worms. Take down also to mark my words. If we give up on Penix, we will have marginal success while Penix wins a Super Bowl for another city. Boy, that would really hurt to see the guy that we drafted at number 8 to, in our minds, be the eventual franchise quarterback, go somewhere else and win a Super Bowl in another city. Speaking of the most Falconers thing, that would kind of be one of them also. Todd Gurley in the house. What's going on, TG3? Yeah, I figured that's why he wouldn't run. He appeared to want to stay in the pocket at all times, even though the line is not good, and he knew that. Yeah, I think that injury stayed in the back of his head, even though he obviously was athletic, great 40 time for a quarterback. He was as we saw, he was hesitant and reluctant to take off and running. Penix got injured in the pocket, so he was really never a runner. That's true. Got injured in the pocket, I think, both times, to be honest. See here, Ski says there's only been 2 players in NFL history who suffered 3 ACL injuries, came back fine. Ski, you got to tell us who those players was, bro. Who that was? Miss Lisa in the building. What's going on, Lisa? This season has been so dramatic. It has. The fact that Bijan brought tears on the sideline yesterday, yeah, that was tough to see, man. It's you know it's rough when we got players crying like week 10, week 11. Got Bijan crying on the sideline and Penix crying at press conference. Goodness, boy. Mm-hmm. Our team might need to go to Six Flags or something, man. Just get I don't know, just get some new energy going, man. It's been tough. It's been tough on fans too, man. I won't say I was going back and forth with other fans on Twitter today, but I was having a conversation because I saw my Twitter timeline. There were a segment of people saying like they done with the Falcons and I ain't going to no more games and I ain't gonna buy no more merch. I'm like, man, y'all cut it out, bro. Like, stop it. But that's another situation. MVM says I hate no victory Mondays. You and me both, bro. You and me both. Lisa's tired of putting in work. I'm trying to, man. I'm trying to. Some people have been getting on me, Lisa. They say, man, stop being lazy, man. Put some content out, bro. Like you just can't put content out when like you feeling like it or it don't work like that, man. Like if you're gonna have a channel, if you're gonna report on the Falcons, you gotta be a little more consistent. So, some people got on me and I listened to them. I said, I said to myself, you know what, y'all right. Let me be more consistent and put forth more of an effort to be consistent. So here I am. Coach in the house, what's going on, Coach? I'll make sure y'all check out the Coach's Corner. They will be on this Wednesday at 8 p.m. I know that show is going to be a blockbuster. I know Coach going to have a lot to say. So y'all make sure that you are subscribed to their channel. He says, as I've said many times in the Waffle House. Shout out to the Waffle House. It's been a minute since we had a Waffle House. Drafting Penix would be the dumbest move the Falcons ever make because 2 knee surgeries and 2 shoulder issues, but no one wanted to hear it. Hey, Coach, I can't say that you're lying. You did say that, a numerous amount of times. Place says if Penix has surgery, he will miss most of next season. With a regime change, the general manager and coach likely will not want to be tied to Penix. We won't know what to predict before his rookie season. That's true as well, man. True as well. Y'all keep coming in, man. Let's go ahead and get the show on the road. Y'all keep the comments coming, please. Keep the comments coming. But everybody that's coming in, man, let me reiterate something that I said earlier. Y'all, this gonna be one of them shows. This gonna be one of them shows. We're not gonna be here long. I promise you that. But this is finna be one of them tough conversation shows, y'all. And like I was saying when I first came on, we not on Twitter tonight. We not on Facebook tonight. It's just us, the YouTube crew, like it was back when it went probably about 500 or 600 subscribers on this channel. Y'all know how we used to just come on late night and just talk and be honest with each other. Hey, this gonna be one of the conversations, man. We love our team, we love our Falcons, obviously, but with love in a relationship, there is sometimes you just have to have real, honest, tough, transparent conversations, and that's what we're gonna do tonight. So let's get the show on the road. Michael Penix, of course, as we know, suffered another ACL injury. It is being reported that there's a partial tear, which is good, not a full, complete, blown tear. So that's good. I'm not gonna sit up here and try to play like I'm some orthopedic surgeon and I can say, hey man, it's gonna be 5 months of recovery. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm sure once he gets with whoever gonna do his surgery and they do the MRI, they'll kind of have some type of timeline. But what I can say, if he has a partial tear, from what I do know, that can be anywhere from, depending on the severity of it and how his rehab goes, be anywhere from 5 months to 15 months. I don't think nobody really knows at this point in time. And again, I'm no surgeon, but you kind of really don't have a good idea till you do that MRI, open that knee up, see how bad that damage is, and then they'll kind of give him an estimated timetable, and then you take off from there. At least that's what my experience was when I had my 2 ACL surgeries. So and being that we were entering December, depending on how long this take, man, this Michael Penix could potentially be out until around the same time next year. Potentially, he could be out to this time next year, and that really changes the direction in a lot of things within the franchise, because that's our franchise quarterback. And I mean, it's very unfortunate already that he got injured. That's already unfortunate enough, but he was playing a pretty good game yesterday. He'd only had 3 incompletions. I think he was like 13 out of 16, 175 yards, something like that. But he was playing a pretty good game. He looked good. He looked like he had cleaned up a lot of the mistakes that he had the prior game, and he looked very good. He looked very, very, very good yesterday. Like, okay, Penix on his thing. But The Falcons are currently sitting at 3-7, and unless something like unless a miracle happens, I suspect, in all likelihood, we will see a coaching change. That's what I suspect. We'll see a coaching change, and like a few of you have indicated, you bring a new coach in here, you bring a new general manager in here. Yeah, you have to wonder. You by now you should be wondering already. Will a new administration want Michael Penix Jr. as their quarterback? When I was talking about this earlier today on my Facebook, one of my guys, Kyrie, shout out to Kyrie. Sometimes he'll get on YouTube and watch the shows. So if he does happen to stumble across this, shout out to you, Kyrie. But he said something when I was talking about this injury. He was like, you know what, man? Let's just move on. We should just move on. I'm like, man, you're crazy. What are you talking about? Move on? Like, why? You're like, well, you know, he's hurt again. And when we get new coaches, they may not want him. And I responded back to him. I said, man, you're being irrational. That's what I said. I said, you're being irrational, bro. And ever since I said that earlier to him today, this was probably around lunchtime. So about 12 hours ago. Ever since I've said that to him, I just been thinking about that conversation that we had. And I've been thinking to myself, like, you know what? He wasn't being irrational. I was probably the person that was being irrational, because if we're being open-minded about the situation, Michael Penix is in year 2. He'll be going into year 3, obviously next year. And again, we don't know when he will return. We don't have any idea. ACL surgeries, who knows? 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, 16 months, who knows? And this is, I think, going to be his 3rd surgery. I think this is Penix. I think this is his. Correct me if I'm wrong, yo. But I think this is his 5th season-ending surgery in like the last 8 years. I read somewhere. The 5th one in 8th year in 8 years. So, as I said, as I recall that conversation me and Kyrie was having, I'm like, Kyrie got a point. A new regime comes in here. What makes me think they're gonna want to stay attached to Penix? And not because Penix isn't talented. Obviously, Mike is talented. You know, say what you want about him. You obviously see the man has talent. Does he have some things he needs to clean up in his game? Yeah. But what first-year starting quarterback don't? You feel me? But if a new regime, a new administration comes in here, you know, hey, y'all know me. I was trying to defend Raheem and Zach as long as I could, and they wouldn't pay me no money. I think they should. I think they owe me a little money, because I really was holding them down in these internet streets. But beyond that, I was like, you know, I'm done. I can't hold y'all down no more, bro. Like, hey, I gotta let the wolves get y'all. So I stepped out the way and let the wolves get them. But anyway, if we get a new coaching staff and probably a new general manager, because we at that point now where, man, Arthur Blank might just say, man, fuck it, bro. Everybody get up out of here. All y'all pack y'all shit. Get the hell on. We at that point. And if that happens, I just don't. What would be, and please, y'all, don't take this the wrong way. Again, we have one of these conversations tonight. What would make a new general, what's attractive about Michael Penix to a new general manager and a new head coach? If he's had 5 season-ending surgeries in the last 8 years. Let's be honest, y'all. Like, let's just call it what it is. We ain't gonna sugarcoat no shit tonight because it's too late on Monday. That is the technical definition of injury prone. So what makes us think a new coach, a new general manager, they want to come in and just hitch their career, hitch their resume, hitch their legacy to a guy that they're not sure that's going to be able to hang around and be healthy for them? I mean, let's be real. Like, we barely got half a season out of Penix. Let's be honest, man. I like Penix. If you've been watching me for a significant amount of time, y'all know I'm a pro Penix guy. You know, I've been debating people about it, man. Get a man a break. You know that he ain't had a whole 4 years of starter yet. So listen, y'all, I'm not coming from a place of hate. I'm coming from a place of transparency and objectivity. This is something that you have to talk about, something you have to think about. What makes us think a new head coach and a new general manager would want Michael Penix? Because y'all know what normally happens when a new general manager and a new head coach comes in. They normally want their own guy. And then they may be looking at Penix like, dog, this dude is already year 3 in the NFL. He's going to, in all probability, he's starting the season off on injured reserve. So I'm only going to have like 1 year rookie contract with this guy. Like, no. This not going to be my guy. So if and when Raheem and his crew gets fired, the new coach comes in, like, they may not want Penix, y'all. They really may decide they don't want nothing to do with Michael Penix. I want a younger guy. I want a guy who don't have such a history of season-ending injuries. You know, I don't want that. So that's something that we really have to consider. And I'm not saying this to try to slide in a way to say, well, just keep Raheem Morris and let's see how the Michael Penix experiment go. No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is when a new staff comes in here, they may not want anything to do with Michael Penix Jr. They may look at the fact, well, you know what, off the blank? The only good thing we see out of this situation with Penix is he's still on a rookie contract. So that means he really ain't gonna do much to the salary cap. It's not like Kirk Cousins when you had your old general manager come in here and give him $100 million guaranteed, and then you end up stuck with it. We can get off this Michael Penix contract, and we're gonna get off this Michael Penix contract. We're gonna go in this draft, and we're gonna find us another quarterback, our quarterback, one who we feel is a good bit more durable than Penix. That's a very real situation, y'all. Very real situation. Because once again, we don't know what Penix rehab time gonna be like. Penix may not be ready to week 11, week 12, week 13 next year. And then on top of that, this is why this is so bad for us right now. We already talking about a guy who needed every snap possible for his progression, for him to gain the needed experience he needs in the NFL. Now this injury sets his progression back a whole year plus. So not only his progression set back, his learning curve is set back. So now when he comes back, he's still trying to get caught up and learn. And at the same time, he trying to knock the rust off. So it's like a double whammy. And then like you bringing in a new coach and a new general manager, and they got what they got on the books. Old Kirk Cousins, arm shot, and it hurt Michael Penix. First thing they may say to Arthur Blank, like, look, we're gonna go and tell you right now. We're gonna get Kirk out here. He gone. You know, you done paid out that guaranteed money that that y'all spent on him. So we're gonna go and get him out of here. There ain't no surprise to you. And Penix, we're gonna monitor his rehab and hopefully he rehabs on schedule and get back on here in enough time. But in the meantime, we're gonna go back in the draft and get another quarterback. And then the icing on the cake, there's not a first round draft pick here in 2026 to go right back in the draft and try to double dip on the quarterback. Because you got to remember, you bring a new staff in here, they may want to go get their own guy. So now you got an old Cousins on the books in 2026. You got a hurt Penix on the roster in 2026. And you don't have a first round draft pick. So now that the job doesn't look as attractive to candidates as it looked 48 hours ago. Because they looking like Cousins? Nah, he washed. Penix? Oh, he hurt. No first round draft pick? I'm out. I'm good. Nah, I'm out. Hey, Blank, you might well keep Raheem and you get with me next year when you get a first round draft pick. Nah, bro. I'm sure I'm not coming in. I don't have a first round draft pick. No, sir. So now you're gonna have some candidates that gonna turn their nose because of the quarterback situation. Hurt Penix, old Kirk, and you don't have a first round draft pick. No, normally new coaches, and I think we spoke about this already, but normally like them top tier coaches that's available, because really top tier coaches, they don't really hit the market often. And if they do, they kind of already know where they want to go. Like Harbaugh, like everybody I be seeing on Twitter, oh man, we had Harbaugh in the building, we let him go. Harbaugh wouldn't come in here. Harbaugh knew where he wanted to go. So when them kind of coaches like Harbaugh, or even though we don't really like him in Atlanta, but Sean Payton, when they hit the market, they know where they going. They just all about, okay, let's just get the money right. Like, don't make me have to go interview with Atlanta 2 times, or Sean Payton, like, man, don't make me go have to interview with the Raiders twice. Just come with the right check the first time, let's be done with it, bro. I ain't trying to do all that traveling anyway. Just make sure to check the right the very first time we meet, so I can go ahead and sign and go and get out the door. So the top tier guys, they already know where they want to go for the most part. And then normally like the real top tier guys, they really don't come on the market very often anyway. So if one does happen to be available next year, and we ain't got no viable option at quarterback and no first round pick, that makes us look a little less attractive. We go from a 7 to a 5.5. So man, this is not what we needed, y'all. Obviously, I mean, I know that's stating the obvious, but man, this really changes a lot of things. It really does. Not only are we 3-7, but this could have a lasting impact for next year. But next year as well. A lasting impact for next year. And I don't know what Arthur Blank thinking right now. Like, bro, he's probably thinking like, what in the world is going on with my team? Like, what is going on with my team? And like, I'm not necessarily mad about the trade of the first round pick because we got James Pierce Jr. You know, I love James Pierce Jr. as a player. I think him and Jalen Walker, they're gonna make a very special tandem for years to come in Atlanta. But when you're looking at potentially starting the 2026 season with with your franchise quarterback on injured reserve and a hurt Kirk Cousins, who obviously will be cut, it's not ideal for a new coach, you know, for that top tier candidate. Unless somebody just wants to come here for whatever reason. Like if if the rumors are correct about Matt LaFleur, he just wants to come to Atlanta. All right, well, cool. But you got to keep in mind, Matt LaFleur may want it to come to Atlanta if those reports are accurate, which we don't know. But if they are accurate, a lot of his reasoning wanting to come to Atlanta, he probably saw a guy like Michael Penix, like, oh yeah, man, I can do some wonders with him. But we got to be honest, man. When Penix gets hurt like that changes a lot. That changes a lot for Michael Penix. You know, I want Penix to be successful in the league, but what is that injury going to do to his psyche now? What is that going to do to his psychology and the way he plays the game and approaches the game now? You know, one of his criticisms already was his footwork. He don't use his athleticism. So what is that injury going to do to him going forward? So, man, this is a very big hit for Atlanta. One of the reasons, one of the reasons you get rookie quarterbacks is you want to take advantage of the low quarterback salary for at least 4 years. You want to take advantage of that for at least 4 years. That gives you an opportunity. Hey, man, let's get the money in order while we still got the rookie contract. You know, even though we did have Kirk Cousins, so we already lost some time because we had Kirk on the books along with Penix. So we already lost a little bit. We already lost 2 years of that rookie quarterback salary because Cousins was here and he was taking up so much of the salary cap. So with Cousins off the books, now like what you might get like a season that you can now squeeze in until like you looking at Penix's 5th year options. Like what I'm trying to say is we're unfortunately not going to be able to take full advantage of that 4 year period of time when you got your quarterback on a rookie deal, and you know you're making the most of that available money. Because now even when Kirk gets off the salary cap next year, and when we cut him, he'll still have some money dead on there. But anyway, Michael Penix won't be playing. He's gonna be rehabbing. So now it's crazy. So now, like, do we have enough confidence in Easton Stick to like, okay, well, we'll just keep Easton Stick on the roster. Like, who's gonna be the quarterback next year until Penix comes back? Like, do you see what I'm saying? This is such a big hit that I don't think people have really thought about totally. Because when you do get rid of Kurt, now you're probably gonna have to go sign another 1 year rental, like maybe a Jameis Winston, you know, and give him $5-6 million. So you still just throwing money, and you still got Kirk Cousins dead money out there too. So you just throwing money at the quarterback position, like just throwing money at the quarterback position with no winning season accounted for yet. And we done threw all this money at the quarterback position. Because when you do cut Kirk, you gotta bring another veteran in here to be a placeholder until Penix gets ready. And you really just gotta hope and pray that Penix is ready to come back next year. And he's effective next year. Like, what's his recovering rehab time gonna be? Because we damn near in December now. What's his, like, the 17th to 18th of November? We damn near in December. He obviously ain't had surgery yet. So the rehab clock hasn't started yet. Or he may not have surgery till December or closer to December. Or, I don't know. Or maybe it's just not as bad as I'm making it be. And maybe he's ready for training camp next year in July. Who knows? But that's something you got to think about, man. Like, I am very much looking forward to Penix being the quarterback of the future. But man, like, we can't lie to ourselves, y'all. We cannot lie to ourselves. Like, you have to be concerned at this point about how durable Michael Penix is gonna be able to be. His durability. If you're trying to say to yourself or convince to others, man, I ain't really concerned about his durability, you're being too dismissive. Because once again, this ain't his first season-ending surgery. 5 season-ending surgeries in 8 seasons, man. Like, bro, that's pretty much saying, like, every 1.5 years he's going to be out for the year. And if we're trying to set ourselves up for optimal success and get that elusive Super Bowl that has eluded Atlanta all these decades, man, you're gonna have to have a more durable quarterback leading this team than that, man. And I wish Mike the very best. And again, I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but there is something about there's something about injuries. Being more susceptible to injuries can actually be a part of your DNA. That can be a part of your DNA. Person A could genetically be way more prone to injuries than person B. I'm not saying that's the case with Michael Penix, but that's science. It's real. It is real. And it's something that we can't ignore at this point. There were many people when we drafted Michael Penix that the same thing with the Kirk Cousins signing. Like, people were like, why would you sign a 36-year-old coming off an Achilles injury and give him $100 million guarantee? Like, what are y'all smoking in Atlanta? Why would you do that? There were plenty of people. Y'all heard them. You had to hear him as a Falcons fan. And then you also had the same people or a different set of people saying, why would you draft a quarterback at 8 who's had all these knee surgeries, shoulder surgeries, and he's already like 24, 25 years old? Like, this dude was in college for like 6 years. Like, why would y'all Take him at 8. This dude is a walking surgery waiting to happen. What are y'all thinking in Atlanta? Like they were asking that question. And for both of them, I was front line like, oh man, Kirk gonna be all right, man. Like we good. Like we gonna be all right. Kirk gonna bounce back, man. Y'all saw Kirk before he got hurt. He had an MVP type year. Same thing for Penix, man. Penix gonna be good, man. Penix will be straight. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about it, man. He got his knee braces on. He don't run like that anyway. Penix will be all right. He's straight. You know, sometimes some people just go through them injuries and then they bounce back. Kirk Cousins got hurt halfway through the season. Penix got the starting job. The following year, he got hurt halfway through the season. And now we sit here like, damn, here we go again. Almost back from square one. I was back at square one. So, and as much as I think Terry Fontenot has done a great job in the draft these last 2 years, I think this Michael Penix Jr. injury is going to solidify him getting fired by the Falcons. I think this was the icing on the cake for Terry. I thought Raheem Morris' cake was already baked, and Terry might have just slid his way through there like he slid through the Arthur Smith fire. Like, yeah, I'm slide, slide on out here. But with the Penix injury, in my opinion, I think that solidified that Terry will be fired also. Because although Fontenot has done a good job in the draft these last 2 years, the mismanagement, the gross negligence, and the ultimate preponderous disasterment of the quarterback position these last 2 seasons cannot and will not be ignored by the Buckhead billionaire. It won't be ignored. Kirk Cousins, $100 million. Achilles injury, hurt. Michael Penix, drafted number 8, hurt. So I don't see how Terry will survive this. I don't think there's no way he will survive this. I don't think there's no way he'll survive this. And I know people are going to say, well, it's not Terry's fault. Terry don't do the coaching. He ain't coaching. That's on the coaching staff. Terry don't hire his own coaches. You're right. But it don't matter. It don't matter. 5 consecutive losing seasons in the NFL for a general manager with no winning seasons on your resume, you're going to get fired. To be honest, Terry was lucky he wouldn't let go with Arthur Smith. 5 straight consecutive losing seasons. You done been through 2 coaching styles, and now the quarterback that you gave $100 million guaranteed, a no trade clause, he only lasted 9 games. Then his successor, who you took number 8 overall in the NFL draft, he only lasted 9 games. I like Terry, man, but to me, I don't see there any way possible that he's going to survive this. Once Penix got hurt, to me, that baked Terry Fontenot's cake. That baked his cake. I don't see no way he gonna survive this. So when the dust is settled in the off season, or if they lose in New Orleans, like Blake may just say, man, fuck it, bro. Like, hey, send that jet. Y'all come get on this jet. Blake may send that jet for him if we lose in New Orleans, especially if we get blew out. That would be just more utter embarrassment on a terrible season. But I don't see how Antonio said, "I've heard enough. Good night. Hindsight is always 2020." How else am I supposed to talk about this, Tonio? Foresight, hindsight. Of course, I'm speaking on hindsight. And like I said, like, look, I told people before we started, this gonna be some of y'all ain't gonna want to hear. Some of y'all who oh man, Terry the best thing smoking, Terry Ben Dimitrov. Y'all ain't gonna like this. I'm sorry. Some of y'all who like, man, we gotta stand by Michael Penix. Like, I'm sorry. You know, I can't come on here and be fake and be phony. Oh man, everything is gonna be great. Oh man, Terry the best general manager we ever had. You know, oh man, Michael Penix gonna bounce back and you know he's gonna be the best thing smoking. So of course, Tonio, hindsight is 2020. Of course it's 2020. But as I said, this was gonna be a tough conversation. I knew some people weren't gonna like it. It was gonna piss some people off. But if we can't sit down and have real conversations about the team, about the franchise, about the players, and then it be the people. Well, I'm tired of losing, man. Let's make some changes, man. Let's do this. Let's change this. Well, no, don't do that. I don't want to change that person. I just want to change that person. Don't change this person. I just want to change him. I don't want to change him. So what's the point? What's the point? You know, if you're not trying to eradicate the problems that have plagued the franchise, what's the point? What's the point? What is the point? You know, what is the point? And I guess with Tonio, I'm gonna stay on Tonio because I could tell I piss him off. But do you really think a general manager in today's NFL without any winning seasons on his resume, 5 consecutive losing seasons, is going to be able to continue to survive in the NFL and work? And again, I like Terry. But how many chances do you get not to produce a winning product on the field? How many chances? How many chances? I'm not married to any of the general managers, any of the players, any of the coaches. They all can go. For everything that you may think or may say that Fontenot got right, there's a lot of stuff that he got wrong. And then, you know, I put myself in this boat. You know, a lot of us have made excuses for him. Well, Terry didn't have the keys to the car. That's something I've said for years now. There's still videos on my page where I say, well, Terry didn't have keys to the car. And that's me liking him and trying to find a reason to give him another shot. But 5 consecutive losing seasons, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25. At what point do you say enough is enough and you try to do something else? You know, I don't get it. I don't understand it. And that's some of what I'm saying about Michael Penix too. Like, look, I like Penix. I think Penix has the talent to be a very, very good, borderline great, maybe a Hall of Fame type quarterback. But if he keeps getting hurt, What good does it do us? If you can't depend on him to be healthy and be able to stand up and play 16, 17 games per season, what good is it to us? What good is it to us? I mean, or are we talking reality, or are we just trying not to hurt people's feelings? Are we talking reality, or are we just trying not to hurt people's feelings? Or although this is a game of entertainment, or are we just okay with being 7-10 and 6-11 and 5-12 and okay, well, as long as we just got a team to say rise up to and hey, go Falcons, rise up. Or are we just cool with that? Oh, don't get it twisted. I'm gonna be a fan whether they win 17 games or they lose 17 games. But as long as I put some kind of emotional input in this thing, and don't get me wrong, I know it's by choice, I want them to do the very best that they can. I want them to perform the very best that they can. I like to see the teams. Well, no, let me take that back. I love to see the teams that I root for do well. Man, when Georgia Bulldogs went back to back, bro, like that was some of the from a sports perspective, that was some of the best times of my life from a sports perspective. I can't begin to imagine to tell you how good that felt. After watching this team since the 80s, and like I was on Earth in 1980, but I can't honestly claim that Georgia Bulldogs championship in 1980 because I wasn't old enough to understand it. But watching the Bulldogs from the 80s to 90s, Jim Donnan, Mark Riggs, Matthew Stafford, Jay Fromm, the whole Justin Fields debacle, no Sean Moreno, Rodney Hampton, Ben Smith, Quincy Carter, all them years, and to watch them boys finally get that shit done, bro, I can't tell y'all how good that shit felt. I can't begin to tell you how good that felt. That's what you do it for. That's what you do it for. So I want the Falcons to at least get one of these things while I'm here. Again, I'm gonna be a fan whether they winning or losing, but I want them to win. I want them to win. So if that means, the new coach and the new GM, and they're going to come here and they're going to say, well, hey, man, like, I don't want to take the risk anymore with Michael Penix. To me, he's injury prone. So, Mr. Blank, we're letting you know up front, we will actively look for another quarterback during this process. If that means Arthur Blank has to say, you know what, Terry Fontenot, hey, we gave it our best shot. I enjoy it, working with you for 5 years, but we're going in another direction. So be it. But when you're a team like the Falcons and you've been losing the way the Falcons have been losing, changes will be made. That's almost like me coming up here 3-7, still trying to defend Raheem Morris. Oh no, we don't need to fire Raheem. Like, bro, like, okay, that's over with now. That part of it, Toddy, is over with, bro. You don't have any ammo left. You can't honestly come up here at 3-7 and try to make a case for Raheem at 3-7. Now at 4-5, maybe. At 5-5, maybe. Even maybe at 4-6, you could try to tell the hey man, y'all be a little bit patient. But at 3-7, it's nothing there. It is nothing there. So, but like I said in the beginning, I knew what kind of conversation this was going to be, which is why I forewarned you what it was going to be. I forewarned you. What's going on, Tay? Tay says starting with the draft, choosing a tight end at 8. Well, fourth overall. That was already a mistake. I agree with you, Tay. That was already a mistake. Taking Kyle Pitts at 4th overall when and speaking of viable quarterbacks, that was when it was obvious that Matt Ryan wasn't going to be around much longer. And we took a pass catching tight end at 4th overall. That didn't go well for us. To be totally honest, like for y'all who have been watching for long enough, I never was a fan of how the team was built during the rebuild. I never. It's almost like they just kept redrafting the same position group. We started the rebuild with 3 consecutive pass catches. Kyle Pitts, Drake London, Bijan Robinson. 3 consecutive pass catches. I know people are thinking, well, Bijan is a running back. Yeah, he is. He's also a pass catcher. Bijan probably has the second most passing targets on this team right now. So he's a pass catcher too. So we started a rebuild off with 3 consecutive pass catches. I was never a fan of that. I guess this is my hindsight is 2020 part, but I would have very much preferred the Falcons rebuilt this team from the inside out, not the outside in. What the Falcons did is they bought them some land and they said, we're gonna build us a house on this land. But they started with the roof, then they started installing windows, and then they called the HVAC guy, and then they finally started doing the foundation. Like, no, you start with the foundation first. That's why it's called the foundation. It's gonna hold everything together. Once the foundation is in place, once that's solid, okay, then you call the HVAC guy for the heating in there. Then you start installing windows. Then you start putting your roof on there. But you always start the foundation. But the Falcons, they did it totally different. And now we're kind of seeing the results of starting the rebuild off incorrectly. Starting rebuilding and we getting all these finesse skill position players. And now when you get here, I'm gonna root for you. Y'all know me. I still be pulling for Kyle Pitts. I still be trying to convince some of y'all, hey man, we might need to re-sign Kyle. That's just a fan in me. I'm still gonna root for it. Drake a dog. I say that damn near every week. Drake a dog. You go to my Facebook now, you'll see on my Facebook page, Drake a dog. I said that yesterday. Bijan, the best player on the team. Bijan a dog. Bijan is an exceptional talent. Exceptional. Great running back. Probably even a better person. But was that the proper way to build a team? Is that the proper way to build a team? Took us 5 years to actually focus on defense. And now we get to the point where Bijan he's about to complete year number 3. For all intents and purposes, our season is over. So Bijan is about to be done with year number 3. Now you're about to get to the point where you're going to have to give him a new contract. which will be a record breaking contract for a running back. And now, you know, if you're, as I know y'all do, but if you follow the Falcons, what y'all do, you listen to a lot of people say, now you're getting to the point where it's like, you got to kind of start watching Bijan carries, because, you know, Falcons use them so much, which they do. You know, you kind of got to start watching his carries. We want to preserve him. We want to keep him as long as we can, which we do. But that's exactly why teams nowadays rarely draft a running back that high. If you would have went and got a left tackle, right tackle, defensive tackle, linebacker, you ain't worrying about putting them on a pinch count and worry about how many reps they done played. You think anybody worry about how many reps Penei Sewell played? Abdul Carter, no, just play football. But that's the thing, you know, when you take a running back. So it's and I love them. I love them. Like when they get here, I'm gonna root for you. I'm gonna pull for you till I don't pull for you no more when you become a Falcon. So everybody I just mentioned, even Kyle Pitts, I'm pulling for him. I know people gonna disagree, but I still hope we re-sign Kyle Pitts. I hope we get him an extension. But with him on the expiring contract, this is his 5th year option, and in all probability, we're gonna have a new staff next year, a new general manager, a new head coach. They're probably gonna see things a lot differently. They will probably prioritize guys in the trenches over a tight end. So we shall see, man. We shall see. I was saying on the page today, and you know, people, maybe I didn't present it right, but people got real upset with me when I said something on the page about Bijan. I said, since the Falcons drafted Bijan, our record is 18-26. Since drafting Bijan, we have won 40% of our games. Since drafting Bijan Robinson. Oh man, y'all blaming Bijan. Oh my God, y'all blaming Bijan. Oh my God. No, not blaming Bijan. Again, Bijan is the best player on the team, without a doubt. But let's see how I can put this. Well, y'all don't think I'm blaming Bijan. Let me think and try to get my message out where y'all don't think I'm hating on Bijan. For a hungry person, a person who is eating very sparingly, a hungry person, when you finally have a opportunity to get some food, don't go spend it on ice cream or candy or a cake. Get something fulfilling that's gonna sit on you. Get you a steak. Get you something that's gonna sit on you because you're hungry. You ain't been eating. So don't just jump in. Hey man, I'm gonna just go get me a bunch of sweets. No man, get something that's gonna sit on your stomach. It's gonna fill you up because you ain't been eating. That's kind of how I am, or I was, about the Bijan pick. Because as talented as Bijan is, he plays running back. His position isn't impactful enough to drive wins. You go get Bijan when you all set. Everything's set. Hey, bro, we just need We just need a goddamn dynamic running back now, dog. Everything else set. Don't go get that when you on the come up, when you climbing the ladder. And this is nothing against Bijan. Love Bijan as a player. This is all about the position, building the team the correct way. All about the position. Jay Atlanta says, "No, Toddy, you wrong. Bijan was the correct pick." Again, since we got Bijan, we're 18-26 since we drafted Bijan Robinson. Now, has he given us some of the best highlights we've seen since Julio Jones and Michael Vick? Yes, he has. But it doesn't impact winning enough, is what I'm trying to say. It doesn't impact winning enough, is what I'm trying to say. I honestly don't think a lot of teams who have been winning consistently and have proven to be winners in the past, I don't think they would have drafted Bijan right there. I think that's something that the Falcons would have did, and we did it. I don't think teams like Pittsburgh or the Packers or hell, even the Patriots, I don't think a lot of the winning teams would have went that route. I think a lot of teams see now that you can go get very damn good backs now in free agency. Look at Derrick Henry in Baltimore, free agency. Look at Saquon Barkley in Philadelphia, free agency. Or if you build a team the right way and you just get a dog-ass quarterback, and I know that's not easy, Kansas City, you can win that way. But and that's why it's such a delicate subject talking about Bijan, because he's clearly the best player on the team right now, without a doubt. And I don't want people to think I'm hating on Bijan. It's not Bijan, it's the pick that I had a problem with. 3 years with Bijan Robinson, and the most games we don't won is 8 games. We got Bijan Robinson now, and we're sitting at 3-7 with Bijan, and we're about to have to pay him about $22-23 million a year, and still don't have a winning season with him. And now we're getting to the point where we gotta watch his reps. We got to put him on a pitch count. But like, this is the reason we be losing, y'all. Like, this is the reason we be losing. Like, how we decide to build our teams, the drafts that we do. You know, if the team was already complete and we were ready to rock, I'd love to have a guy like Bijan. I'm happy on the team now. But if I could do it all over, I wouldn't draft him. I would not have drafted him. I wouldn't have drafted Kyle Pitts neither. Drake London, I didn't have a big problem with Drake, because at that time, wide receiver was definitely a position of need, especially after losing Calvin Ridley to that situation. But Kyle, no. Bijan, no. Wouldn't have did it. I would have stuck with Ty last year. I would have stuck with the guy who set the franchise rookie rushing record. Is he as dynamic as Bijan? No. Is he as entertaining to watch play football as Bijan? No. Could he get the job done? Yeah. But one of these conversations, oh, Jay Lana, come on now. So tell us who you would have picked then. If you're gonna tell the story, tell the whole thing. It's obvious who I would have picked, bro. Obvious who I would have picked. And if the whole thing with him is, well, you can't pick him because he's such a problem and you need to get him away from Georgia, then I probably would have just traded out the pick, bro. But taking a running back at 8, it ain't done that for us, bro. We're 3-7 right now with Bijan Robinson, dog. And no, that's not Bijan's fault, but I'm just saying, like, when you build a team like that, those are the results you're gonna get. We 3-7 with Kyle Pitts right now. I'm gonna build my team inside out. Unless I have an opportunity to just take a great quarterback who I like. Outside of that, I'm gonna build my team inside out. I'm not starting a rebuild without a quarterback, and I'm taking a bunch of pass catchers. I'm not doing that. I'm not drafting Kyle, then Drake, then Bijan. These are all pass catchers, all guys who catch the ball. And not trying to stick up for Kyle, but that's some of the reason that Kyle Pitts hasn't been as productive as we like him to be. You pretty much just drafted people to take his reps from him. Jay Leonard said if we had better coaching, none of this would be a problem. All right. Jay Leonard, you know how I feel about blaming coaches about everything, bro. You know how I feel about blaming coaches about everything. Ahmad Simmons, what's up, Ahmad? Says, I love Drake. He a dog. We need help in the trenches. Been saying we only get sacks because we blitzing, but you can't live like that. We're still not getting substantial pressure with our front four. You're absolutely right, Ahmad. I saw something on Twitter that said we are second in sacks, which is good, but we are blitz. I think we're like either the highest blitz. No, I think we're second in the NFL in blitzing, like how often we blitz. And we're getting home on our blitz about 14% or 14% win rate, which is right in the middle. So granted, we are against sacks, but we're sending a blitz more than everybody in NFL. And we're getting home at an average rate, which is leaving the backup end of the defense exposed. So we all picked on Natron and Brooks yesterday, and I raised my hand because I picked on it too. But hell, if we blitzing everybody and you asking your secondary to pick up the slack, and we know that secondary, especially on that side, just ain't strong enough to do that. John Kemp says Jalen Carter should have been the pick at 8. Hey, man. I don't know, man. They said Jalen needed to get out of Georgia, bro. That's what everybody was telling me. That's what everybody was telling me. They said Jalen had to get out of Georgia. So it is what it is. It is what it is. Dog 3 Dirty is in the house. What's going on with you 3? What's happening, man? Appreciate you coming in. But like I say, man, I knew people would take this conversation the wrong way, which is good, man. Y'all know me. I'm not gonna be the politically correct content creator, bro. If it anybody gonna go against the grain and push the boundaries and challenge you to think beyond just saying rise up every 10 minutes, it's gonna be me, bro. It's gonna be me. I like to have, I call them barbershop conversations. I call them PlayStation conversations because I just like to have the conversation that I've always had with my friends. Back in the day when I used to smoke weed, Me and one of my best boys, he a big Falcon fan, and we just used to sit at his crib or my crib, and we have a bunch of weed, and we just sit. Now this was back in the day. I don't even smoke weed no more, but we just be smoking blunts after blunts and just talking about the Falcons. Cause they were sorry to end too. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing changed. But me and him, we didn't have the internet and the microphone. Even though the internet was prevalent at that time, it's just like we had authentic conversations about our team. You know, we wouldn't put on the mask or anything, you know, so I could, if me and him was here right now, I would say the same thing. He's like, bro, Bijan is a dog, you know, best player on the team, but man, like that wasn't the right pick for Atlanta at the time, bro. That was not the right draft to go get Bijan. We had other pressing needs. And he would probably tell me, boy, like Kyle Pitts at 4, like, you know, that's just how we talk. That's how I talk with a lot of my friends, bro. Like I say, like I'm gonna be the content creator. I'm not saying that I'm always right or my opinion is the best opinion out there, but I'm gonna at least challenge you to think. That's all I'm gonna say, bro. I'm gonna at least challenge you to think. That's it. I think at times we tend to get lost in the internet at times. You know. But I'm just gonna tell y'all how I feel, how I see it. That's all I can do. Check down says we're too close to blow it up. We need to tweak. Of the 7 games that we lost, only 2 were by 2 or more touchdowns. It takes time to get it right. I can definitely agree with that. Check down. The thing about it is Mr. Blank gonna agree with that. Unfortunately for us, this has been such a tumultuous season filled with a lot of bad press. At 3-7, I don't know how patient Arthur is willing to be. I don't. And in order to avoid blowing it up, we definitely better not lose to New Orleans, because that could really be the icing on the cake if we lose to New Orleans. The Daily Talent. What's up, Daily Talent? Are you worried that injuries to Penix and Drake might cause Blank to give the regime another year? I think it depends on how they finish. They still got enough time in this season to somewhat right the ship. So if they find themselves on like a 4-game winning streak or winning 5 out of the last 6 or 6 out of the last 8, if they can wheel something like that off, I think at that point in time, Arthur Blank would probably say, okay, you know, I'll give you another shot. Terry, Terry, Raheem, I'll give y'all another shot. But if that doesn't happen, I don't see it, man. I really don't see it. Like I was saying earlier, Daily Talent, I think the Penix injury actually hurt Terry. I think that's really what baked his cake. Kirk getting hurt and Penix getting hurt. That was the last thing Terry Fontenot needed was Penix to get injured for the year. Because now your quarterback is hurt, and it's the quarterback that got drafted who was injury prone. So that was the last thing Terry needed. Monster, I do think coaching is the biggest issue. If 1 or 2 players have issues, then I blame the players. If it's a trend throughout the team, I blame coaching. I tend to lump kind of all together. You know, as you already know, Ahmad, I'm a players make plays kind of guy. I just done fell off that blaming coaches boat, bro, because to me that's just so easy to do. I guess because I hear so many people use it, and then I heard so many people using it when Arthur Smith was here. You know, they call him the worst head coach and the worst play caller in the NFL. I heard it with Arthur Smith. Heard it with Dan Quinn's last couple years here, and when Sarkisian was here. Yeah, like at some point, I just it just started going in one ear and out the other with me and this fan base. Talking about coach, like get it done. Just get it done. Get it done. I firmly believe Ahmad. If we get us a dog ass quarterback in here, we build a team properly and surround him with the right pieces. I don't want to say it don't matter who the coach would be, but it don't matter who the coach would be. We're going to start winning because that's what the NFL all about. The NFL is driven by the quarterbacks, man. If you get the right quarterback in here, am I saying that you're going to go straight to the Super Bowl and win it? No, I'm not. But you're going to see a difference in those games. We would start winning at that point in time. So, unfortunately for us, man, we have not been able to get the quarterback position right since Matt left. Since Matt Ryan in his prime. Matt Ryan's prime started to leave around 2018, 2019. That's when we started losing, and that's not by coincidence. That just shows you how predicated the league is on quarterback play. And I'm not saying it's just only quarterback play, but I feel like if you get that quarterback play down pat, everything else will either quickly or slowly start to fall in place. And whether it be Penix or whoever, we just got to figure out who's going to be our quarterback and who's going to lead this franchise. Ray says, what up, Tyler? What's going on with you, Ray? How you doing, bro? Appreciate you coming in. Check down says, like getting a new school district superintendent every few years. We keep starting over and the kids fans suffer. Now, I agree with you on that. That's something that I had been saying most of the year when, everybody was like, get rid of Raheem Morris. And I'm like, man, we just going to keep starting over. That would be our third coach in a 6-year period of time. That's a high turnover rate in the NFL. Like you're never going to be able to put, your blueprint on the team as a coach if you get fired every 1.5 to 2 years. So I definitely agree with you on that 100%. August says August 809. I don't even know if Penix can stay healthy in the NFL. Why would they select a quarterback with a serious injury history? That's something we talked about, August. Like, that's something they're going to have to wear. That's something that Terry got to wear. That's something that Raheem Morris got to wear. And I'll repeat it again. I think ultimately that's going to be the icing on the cake that will get Terry Fontenot fired is Michael Penix Jr. getting hurt. I just see that as a very, very, very big issue. That the quarterback with the injury history in college that we drafted in the first round of the NFL draft gets hurt halfway through the season. I don't think Terry's gonna be able to survive that unless this team goes on a miraculous run. But without the run, if we only win 6-7 games, I think Terry gonna get out of here. What's up, Brian? Says when Penix got hurt, I wonder how big of a hole did Arthur stare through Terry and Raheem. You probably gave him that look, man. Yeah. I was halfway expecting like an alert on my phone after the game. I ain't gonna lie. That had after Sunday's game was the first time that it ran through my mind like, man, they may get fired today. They may get fired. All the other losses are like, nah, it's too early. But after Sunday's loss to the Panthers at home and we got swept, I was like, man, they might get fired today. Coach Corner says, Todd, I get that, but I think what Terry has done in free agency in the 25 draft will save him. He can even flip it as no longer being a bad fan with Kirk. Honestly, Coach, I don't see it, bro. I'm just being real, bro. Can anybody tell me the last general manager without going into the minutia of Rich McKay or Arthur Blank and how the front office is set up, I get that part. But can anybody tell me the last general manager that lost 5 consecutive seasons and still kept their job for number 6? Because I can't recall any. And then to really like drive that point home, Terry don't have any equity to say, well, look, I had 6 consecutive winning seasons before the 5 consecutive losing seasons. It's just like, I like Terry, y'all, but I don't see how general manager can survive it, bro. I don't. I really don't. And I wouldn't be mad if we kept him, because I like what he did in the last couple of drafts, but I just don't see it. I don't see it at all. Check down said, how many losing seasons has the team doctor had? Is he getting fired? While not perfect, Terry built a talented roster. He probably did. He probably got fired before with the Arthur Smith crew. You know, I honestly think Terry brought his own crew in when he took over as general manager. I know they fired. I don't know for sure about the team doctor. I can't speak on that, but I know for certain they fired the scouting department. I know Terry brought his own scouting department with him, and they got rid of the Metro scouting department. But as far as the team doctor, I'm really not sure about that. I don't know. William said it's the way that they lose that bothers me. That bothers all of us, William, but that's what happens when you're a bad team. Good teams don't consistently lose how Atlanta loses. That's what happens to bad teams. Bad teams always find a way to lose games that they should win, or that they were in a more favorable positions to win. That's what happens with bad teams. Good teams, they're gonna if a good team is involved in 5 of those kind of games that we've been involved in, they're gonna win at least 3 of them. They're gonna win more than they lose. Atlanta always finds a way to lose them. Three Dirty says, well, Todd, if you're correct, Terry out of here because I don't see us winning 2 more games this season. I don't see how he survived at 3 Dirty. Hey, I'll be the first person to come on here and say I'm wrong, but I don't see it, bro. I really, really do not see it at all. Daily Talent said, only general manager I can think of is Jason Lick with the Bucks. I'll take your word for it, because I'm not familiar with him, but I will take your word for it on that. Noah says he also fumbled a 4th overall pick by drafting Pitts over Chase and Surtain, still hurting the organization until this day. I would have liked to see us actually get Penei Sewell at that position in hindsight. Ray says it's something to think about when you don't know exactly how these moves are made. Ahmad says Terry definitely gonna get fired because we don't have a first, and his gamble on injury-prone quarterback isn't paying off. Then we might have a top 10 pick that we don't even own. Yeah, as I've been saying, man, I think the Penix injury just baked Terry cake, bro. Injury-prone quarterback in Penix, and then giving Kirk Cousins that money, he got hurt. It's like we ain't winning, y'all. Like we sitting at 3-7. And yeah, Terry, put together a good draft, but like we still ain't winning. We still ain't winning. And then I know how the fan base work. They're gonna say, well, that's the coaching's fault. And then I'm thinking to myself, well, that's the second coach that Terry has had in 4 years. So y'all want to give him a third? So I don't know, man. I don't want to seem like I'm a proponent of getting Terry fired, but I'm just looking at how these NFL owners work. What's going on, James? Todd, the Penix will be fine once a competent coach comes in. That's the thing, James. Like, are you sure that a new coach is gonna want Michael Penix? That's the part you gotta ask yourself, man. And I mean, you got to be honest with yourself. Like, would a new coach want a injury-prone quarterback who still got to go through his learning progression, still got to knock off the rust? Like, a new coach may come here and just say, I don't want Penix. You know, that's a very real possibility that a new coach will come in and they may feel like Penix is used goods. Like, they don't want to commit to him. They look at the fact that he's on a rookie contract and it's easy to get off him. You know, we do have to consider that. What's up, Tay? Terry did indeed nail the draft with the defense, but now we're starting to see them break down. Yep. The defense went from number 1 overall to number 17th overall within like a month. From number 1 overall to number 17th overall within like a month's time. So, no, some people trying to tell me, hey man, like, slow your roll on that defense, bro. They ain't really what you think it is. John says we are a bad team with Terry Fontenot, talented roster. We are a bad team with Terry. And that's another thing before I get out of here, John. I'll speak on that. I think as fans, we tend to overrate how much talent is really on this team a little bit. We got some talented young guys on defense, obviously. You know, you can see it in Jalen Walker. You can see it in James Pierce Jr. You see Xavier Watson, Billy Bowman flash. You know, you see it. You see the young talent on those guys. You can see it in about 3, 4, 5 years. You know, them guys will be going to Pro Bowls. But offensively is I think where we kind of overrate the talent, because like once you get past Bijan, who's super talented, once you get past Bijan and then Drake, it's almost like okay, everybody else is, you got, once you take Bijan and Drake out of the equation, it's like okay, everybody else is, they cool. Kyle Pitts cool. Darnell Mooney was cool for 1 year. You know, Tyler Algier, that's a good talent. You know, that's a good talent. And the most important position is quarterback. We don't have a locked-in, proven talent at quarterback. So I think we tend to overstate the talent a little bit. The offensive line, which has been our strength for years, they're starting to age. Definitely not one of their better years this season. That could be contributed to losing 2 guys who have been starting on the line for a number of years, and Caleb McGarry and Drew Dahlman. So maybe the loss of continuity played a part in that. But once you get past Bijan and Drake, offense is a little questionable. Tay says over 400 yards to Bryce is unacceptable when the man barely throw over 200 all year. Shaking my head. Man, you telling me, bro. I've been saying that since the game ended, man. Like, going into the game, man, I think Bryce Young was throwing for like 120 yards 150 yards. Let's look at Bryce Young's stat line. Like Bryce was, oh my God, man. Bryce going into the game had 124 against New Orleans, 102 against the Jets. No, my bad. 102 against the Packers, 138 against the Jets, 199 against the Cowboys, 198 against the Dolphins, 150 against the Patriots. That's what I'm saying, man. And then you come play against us and you put up 450 yards and 3 touchdowns. And like you can't give up the kind of yards to Bryce Young. And the offense has caught some of the blame for that. My thing on that is like, if the defense is really good, just like their defense was stopping our offense yesterday, stop their offense. No, if it got to be a 7-10 game or 3-9 game, then so be it. But you cannot come and let Bryce Young in your crib throw for 450 yards. I'm sorry. I don't care how bad the offense played. I do not care. I don't care. If you got a good ass defense, your job is to lock that offense down, especially Bryce Young. You know, especially Bryce. Got Bryce Young out here getting a new contract on us. Bryce Young gonna get a new contract because of Atlanta. Watch it happen. So if the offense wasn't playing good, stop. If our offense wasn't playing good, well, then stop their offense. Make it a defensive game. Coach says the last general manager with 5-1 losing season was Joe Douglas at the Jets. What year was that, Coach? Do you know exactly when that was? Because I'm not very, very familiar with him and around what time he coached or what time period that he coached. So when was that exactly? Noah says Pitts about to be a top 5 tight end once he teams on him. You might be right, bro. If he get with Mahomes, he probably will be. Ray Ellison said Matt Mullen was general manager for Detroit for 8 years. What year was that? Y'all let me know what year those were also. Dr. Slicknut says Blank needs to change the overall vision and message of the team. Man, Dr. Slicknut, this is why I don't be just like putting all my eggs in a coaching basket, because man, the failure of Atlanta in terms of winning games, it's an accumulation of a lot of different things. It's not solely coaching. And I guess when I be trying to push that narrative to people, I don't think they fully understand what I be saying. I don't be necessarily saying coaches is not problematic, but it'd be like, man, it's like this is what we're enduring is not solely coaching alone by itself. This is coaching, this is culture, this is ownership, this is front office, this is players, this is a bunch of stuff in this gumbo. If y'all just think all this stuff is, oh, we got a bad offensive coordinator. Like, y'all been saying that shit for 10 years, man. Like, give me a break. Give me a break. Noah says Arthur Blank doesn't know how to hire a competent. I think you mean a competent coach. That's been a problem the past 8 years. Check down says, truth be told, man, outside of coaches think that Penix, Pitts, etc. top talent, and the Falcons coaches don't know how to use them. I don't know. I think athletically, they see Pitts athletically as a good athlete, but I don't know. I think they see Penix as somebody who has potential, But I don't know if I've heard like a lot of pundits like say Penix is like a top talent player. Um, to be honest, check down. Like lately, I've heard a lot of criticism on Michael Penix. You know, after the last couple games. Now the player, who I do hear people nationwide say, okay, this is a top talent. It's Bijan. That's who I hear people say, okay, this is a top talent. This is an elite player. Is Bijan. That's the one person on offense. Like Drake started to get people to notice him too now. I think people be reluctant with Drake because he just don't have that Jamar Chase, Justin Jefferson speed. So he ain't flashy like those guys do. But all Drake do is produce. He gonna get you 6-7 catches, 105, 110, 115 yards a game. So people are starting to recognize Drake. But the only one on offense that I hear people from coast to coast, top tier talent, Bijan Robinson. Everybody agree about Bijan. I'm not ready to say that about Penix and Pitts. Amar says, what we need is a coordinator coach combo because you end up losing your coordinator after one good season. That's what teams are doing now. Imagine if we could have kept Shanny and got rid of Dan Quinn. Yeah, that would have been good if we'd have hired Shanahan as a head coach and Quinn as a defensive coordinator if we knew what we knew now. But, you know, if the new coach does decide to stick with Penix, I would rather it be an offensive coach. That way, when the offensive coordinator, because, you know, offensive coordinators, they only stay in like 2-3 years at most nowadays. So when your offensive coordinator does eventually leave, your system and the chemistry stays in place with the coach. Dr. Slickness says, Blank doesn't need to necessarily sell the team, just change for the better, bro. Listen to your employees. Yeah, Blank ain't selling that team, man. That team gonna stay in the Arthur Blank family name for a while, man. His younger son gonna eventually take over and run that team. James says, honestly, I do tie it because Penix has the potential of being a great quarterback in the league, and with the right offensive coordinator, head coach, he can do numbers. Also, the right quarterback coach. I agree with you on that, James. But what I'm trying to say is, are we sure that the next head coach is going to be willing to attach themselves to a quarterback who, unfortunately for us, has proven he cannot stay healthy for a extended amount of time? Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but as I said earlier, I think this is Penix's 5th season-ending injury in 8 seasons. So what I'm saying is, I'm not questioning Penix's his talent, his arm, his potential. But what I am saying is the next coach that comes in here, they may not like the durability of Michael Penix. They may feel like that they can't rely on him to stay healthy. And you have to consider that. You know, if we're being unbiased and objective, I don't think nobody can sit here and say that Penix's reliability isn't a major red flag. There's no way nobody can say that to me and I feel that they're being objective, because anybody, any sport, this isn't just football. This could be baseball or basketball. But if you've had 5 season-ending injuries in just 8 years, your durability is highly, highly questionable. William Powell, players make plays when the game is on the line, period. Words to live by. Words to live by. Tay says, agree 110%, James, but can he stay on the? Yeah, that's what I was saying, Tay. The durability is what's that question. Unfortunately, you're right, Noah. Bryce Young owns the city of Atlanta. I hate it, but he do, man. He definitely do. Ahmad says, we don't have no talent. Pitts got potential, no heart. Defense fell apart after Diablo got hurt, and we don't have no beef on the defensive line. Secondary suspect, Terrell looking like hey man, don't do AJ like that, bro. Don't do AJ like that. I can mostly agree with you on that. I know you're exaggerating a little bit, but I think sometimes we overstate the talent that's really on this team because it's our team. You know, we're gonna big up our players. But sometimes I think we overstate it. James says yes because look at Sam Darnold. But James, look how many teams Sam Darnold bounced around on. That's kind of a little bit of the point that I'm actually making. Like when a new coach come in, are they gonna want to commit to Michael Penix with his durability issue? Like if you bring up Sam Darnold, I mean, we talking about how many teams he's been on? 1, 2, 3. Sam Darnold has been on 5 teams in 8 years. So, you know, that's a little bit of what I'm saying. Dr. Slayton says, y'all ever watched the Bar Rescue Show? I never seen it. Blank needs a guy like that to show him what's wrong from top to bottom. Yeah, I never seen that show. Matt Miller was the president of Seattle Detroit Lions from 2001 to 2008. A team that is widely considered one of the worst in NFL history. Okay, so that was over with about 25 years ago, roughly, from 2001, 2008, and it's the Detroit Lions. So that's kind of my point, John. That's kind of my point. Like, yeah, bad franchises do bad shit. That's something you would expect the Lions to do, to keep a general manager who's had 5+ losing seasons, because that's the shit that the Lions would do. You know, although the Lions have shown to be better these last few years, we'll see what they do with it. Noah said, "Yeah, we keep it. Well, we about to get Bryce a new contract, man. About to get Bryce a brand new deal." Amon says, "Come on, Todd. It's not that simple. Their defense stops us because our offense is horrible, vanilla and predictable. We dropped a lot of passes. Our defense is bad, and their offense make plays." I don't think our defense is bad. I don't think our defense is bad. I don't think they're as good as I thought they were early in the year, because I was bigging them up. I was getting them a lot of props, but I don't think they're bad. I won't call them bad. They played bad the last 2 games, I think. But I don't think holistically they're bad. I think as that defense gets more experience, they're gonna be good. I can see that defense having like a good 5, 6, 7 year run of being consistent. Jay Leonard says, "Nah, you love our coaches, bro. Be real." I really don't, bro. There was never a time that you saw me before Raheem got hired campaign for Raheem, bro. What it is with me, man, is just like, I can't tell you how many people that I see talk about this team. It is mostly people online, but like they just mention coaching and they just stop. Like they just stop right there. Like when I said earlier, I try to at least challenge you to think. Like, I'm bringing up the fact, like, hey man, Kyle Pitts and B. John probably weren't smart draft picks to make. You know, that probably wasn't a smart thing to do. That's really not how you want to build a team. You know, and that's important because you started your rebuild. So now you're shaping your team for the next 10 years. But people, when they talk about the team, bro, like they just stop at coaching. Like, this is all a coaching issue. Like they never try to say, yeah, our coaches ain't shit, but you know what else? We did this and our players did this, and they just act like all 60 years of failure in Atlanta is all culture related. And it aggravates me, to be honest, bro. Because it's mostly that's just mostly I hear from people online or or people on the radio. You know what I mean? People never really try to dig deeper into it and see outside of coaching what else is the problem. Like, when's the last time we had a consistent, reliable quarterback that we can rely on? When's the last time? When's the last time we put together a consistent, reliable defense? When's the last time? When was the last time we actually rebuilt the team correctly? When was the last time? You know, so it's not always coaching to me. Like, if they fired them cats tomorrow, bro, I would not care one bit. Coach said 2019, 2024. I know you told me, Coach. What general manager was that again? Remind me of who that was. Jay Atlanta says, and our defense is consistently always on the field too, because our offense is so inconsistent. Well, that's with the same guy you've been telling me it's the shit, Jay Atlanta. You know, don't be John play on that offense. That's like some of my point, bro. It's like people just like a lot of folks don't like to tell the whole story, man. When it comes to this team, bro, they don't like to tell the whole story. What? Cause you get a running back, man. If you ain't got like a real good quarterback, man, these defenses in the NFL, they're gonna eventually shut down your running game. If you ain't got a real good quarterback to keep the defense honest. Mr. Smith said the Penix needs a surgery. That's a 9-month recovery. Who do you think we will roll? Who do you think we will roll with Kirk Cousins next season? No, I think they're gonna cut Kirk, bro. His cap hit is $57 million next year, so they're not finna let that sit on the books. They're gonna cut Kirk, and they'll probably go get like a mid-tier veteran, like a Jameis Winston or somebody of that ilk. I don't know who other quarterbacks will be a free agent next year, but Kirk won't be here. And Michael Penix, man, 9 months, 10 months, 11 months, 12 months. So he'll be out about a year. So we can only hope he's ready for in all likelihood, he might not even be ready for week 1 next year, man. And that's some of what I've been talking about, Mr. Smith. You know, with Michael Penix durability issues, if they fire coaching staff, which they probably are, the next coach that comes in here, man, he may not want to have Michael Penix as his franchise quarterback. I agree with you on that, Noah. Matt Bentley has at least 9 losses in each season he served as general manager for the Lions. Yep, the Lions. Yes, exactly. Them dang Lions. If we lose to the Saints, are they both gone? I think so. I think as of right now, they are both gone right now. If they make a miraculous run, I think they could save their jobs. So they need Kirk Cousins to come in and earn that $50 million again this year. But I think if the season was to end today or tonight, I think Terry is gone, and I think Raheem is gone. Sean Tepper, restaurateur. He basically goes to failing bars and businesses, build it back up from the bottom up. I got to look into that. That sounds like something I'd like to see. Tony, what's up? They need to upgrade the O-line. Once they do, then he'll become a great quarterback. Get a better coach and an offensive coordinator who knows how to use all the weapons they have on the offense. I'm hoping that the offensive line will be much better next year with Caleb McGarry back. Ryan Newsell, a little more experience on his belt. They started this year out doing great with pass blocking and kind of faltered off a little last few games. I don't know what's been up with the run blocking this season. I guess we miss Caleb McGarry because the run blocking has been so inconsistent, and that normally used to be our bread and butter. He says it's a reality TV though, so don't take it serious with a light idea. Nobody that is Gruden or somewhere like that. Um, Coach said, okay, the Jets. That's another team. That's another team. See, like this is kind of making my point a little bit, y'all. Like teams like the Lions, the Jets, just notoriously terrible teams. When the last time the Jets had a winning record? Let's see. The last time the Jets had a winning record was in 2015. Was the last time they had a winning record. And that's kind of like making my point. Like franchises who are like serious about winning, who win, who understand how to win from the top. They're not finna have no general managers just sitting up there with 5, 6, 7 losing seasons, dog. You gonna have to get up out of there. They're gonna eventually get you up out of there. And what was that general manager name who you said, Coach? What was his name again? And I want to see how long they had him in there. I want to check to see. Amon said, I disagree that we only blame coaches. We've been begging for Dimitrov to get fired for ages. It just comes a point where you feel like the coach's message isn't being heard anymore. Rod just not it. I can agree with you that Rod just isn't it. But man, pay attention to like when people talk about the Falcons and they tell you what the issue is, bro. They're gonna always just drive home coach. They're gonna sit and talk about the coaches for 2 or 3 hours, bro. I'm telling you, dog. I'll be sitting here like watching and listening to people and reading what people say. It's just always, the coach. Like, bro, I don't know. That just done got old to me, man. It just done got old. Ski says Penix won't come back next year. Think about it. He still have to go through rehab. Kirk wasn't 100% after a year. He tore his Achilles in October. So Penix will probably take 2 years. If Penix is truly only out for 9 months, man, we could consider ourselves lucky. But coming from a person who's torn 2 ACLs, a MCL, and a PCL, it's a tough rehab, man. That's all I'm gonna say. I ain't no world class athlete like Penix, but that shit was hard getting back in rehab, and I will say that. Simmons, we are the Jets. We were the Jets before Vic and Ryan, and now we're reverting back to the Jets. That's the point I'm trying to make, bro. Like teams like the Falcons and the Jets and the Lions, like that question I asked about the general manager. Like notice, like no team with a history of winning has been named. It's just only been Falcons, Lions, Jets. So we consistently make bad decisions, and then we stick on them bad decisions. Oh yeah, Kirk out of here. Kirk cap hit 57 million. He definitely gone. He is out of here. Jay Lance, that's because coaching is the main problem. Not our fault. That's the case. We're just fans, just like you are. All right, well, hopefully, bro, that we hire the right coach once they get rid of Raheem, man. That's the only thing I can say, bro. I remember when we hired Arthur Smith and the fan base was so pumped up about him, and a year and a half later, they turned on Arthur Smith. But hey, I hope we eventually get it right, man. Ski said the Saints head coach said the Falcons will be an easy win for him every year, so he can mark us off the team he had to worry about. We're gonna prove him. But who said that, bro? I don't remember nobody saying that. Only person I can think of would say something like that would be Sean Payton, and he coaching Denver right now. That's the only person I could think of that would say something like that. All right, y'all. I'm gonna let y'all get out of here, man. I've been on here for 2 hours. I didn't mean to stay on here that long, man. But I want to thank y'all for coming through, man. Appreciate everybody coming to the chat. Definitely appreciate the interaction. Not sure when I'll be back on. It could be tomorrow. It could be Wednesday. We would definitely see. Your boy Zeno, what's up? I can't lie. I hate to be this way. I had a feeling in the back of my mind like something like this would happen. I try to block it out and not think about it, bro, but it is what it is, Zeno. And on that note, your dog is gone. Peace.